This is the port access induction for the Longreach Mill and Export Terminal. The Longreach Mill and Export Terminal, located in the Tamar Valley, is operated by Foraco Proprietary Limited. Foraco owns and operates an integrated business for the production of various wood-based products grown from their own plantation estate, which are predominantly located across the north of Tasmania. The Longreach site is Foraco's only combined processing and export terminal, integrating both a wood chip production mill and a bulk wood chip export facility. This induction is targeted at people who require access to the port facility only for valid commercial or other operational reasons. In summary, it will provide you with information that you will need to know to safely and efficiently access the port facility via the wood chip mill and in cooperation with the normal operations of the mill. So let's get on with it. Foraco have a suite of policy documents that you must be aware of. The policies provide high-level direction as to how Foraco manage environmental matters and occupational health and safety, including drugs and alcohol, in the workplace. Copies of these policies will be provided to you as part of a package to support this induction process. While within the mill site and outside your vehicle, you must wear PPE. The minimum requirements for the site are helmet, high-vis vest or shirt with day-night reflective strips, steel-cap boots, and eye protection. In order to work alone on the site, you must have successfully completed this induction process. You'll be provided a contractor induction assessment form that you must complete competently before being granted unescorted access privileges. Of course, if you require assistance with reading or other skills in order to complete the assessment, please let your site contact know before undertaking the assessment. Foraco's requirements for people seeking access to Foraco's Longreach port include the following key points. It is important that Foraco's operations team have an accurate register of all persons on our site at all times. Therefore, persons accessing the port must sign in at the weighbridge office on arrival. Passing this induction does not authorise you to escort others who have not been inducted. Once granted, your access is restricted to a defined pathway to and from the port. The path will be shown on the next slide. The access pathway requires that you pass through the main log truck unloading yard of the operational chip mill. This area is used by heavy plant and log trucks that have had their load restraints removed. As a result, both the vehicles and their loads present potential safety hazards, requiring all people to obey access protocols in order to assure the safety of all. The log yard protocols will be detailed shortly. Finally, when leaving the site, you must sign out at the weighbridge also. The layout of the site is shown in the map included with your induction package. You will see from the map that the overall site is comprised of two separate chipping plants, each with its own wharf infrastructure identified as the North Mill and the South Mill. The map also clearly identifies which areas of the combined sites are classified as restricted and non-restricted. Your access is restricted to the South Mill wharf only, also known as the number 2 berth. The number 1 berth at the North Mill wharf is not operational and remains a restricted area for all persons. The access pathway for the South Mill wharf is shown by the blue line on the map. The map entry point of the weighbridge gatehouse is also shown here with a black arrow. In order to move through the log yard in either direction, shown again by the black arrow, you must obey the following protocols. On approaching the log yard, take note what activity is actually happening in the log yard at that time. This could include detwitching, where restraints are removed from the log loads, or unloading of the log trucks themselves. If this detwitching area is vacant and no log truck unloading is underway, then you may simply put on your hazard lights or a beacon if fitted and transit directly through. If the detwitching area and log truck unloading area is active, you must wait at the detwitching area perimeter with your hazard lights on until the log load has been lifted off and is well clear of its truck, and there is no loaded but detwitched trucks waiting in the yard. Alternately, if you have a UHF radio, you may contact the driver of the large log unloader vehicle on channel 26 and ask for permission to transit the area as the trucks cycle through their queue. If you are given permission to transit through the active yard, You are never permitted to pass a truck while its load is actually being lifted off, or pass close to a log truck after its log load has been detwitched. If you observe a hazard or are involved in an incident that has any safety, health or environmental implications while on a Foraco site, it is a mandatory requirement that you report the issue to your Foraco site representative. This includes near misses, damage to equipment or inappropriate behaviour. A summary of emergency procedures can be found posted in work areas around the site. You will also find an emergency plan map in your induction package, showing firefighting infrastructure and 2 emergency assembly areas. If you need to report an emergency situation, weighbridge staff should be your first point of contact. If a fire breaks out, your first response should be to report the fire by raising an alarm, and thereafter follow directions from the fire crew. If it is necessary to evacuate the site, an evacuation alarm will be triggered from the weighbridge, which sounds like this. If you hear the evacuation alarm, move promptly and with caution to your then closest emergency assembly area and await further instructions there. In accordance with Foraco's drug and alcohol policy, we require that no intoxicating liquor or other illicit drugs are to be consumed on the site, nor should you be under the influence of alcohol or other illicit drugs. Please also be aware that some medications can negatively affect your ability to work safely and protect the health of others. If you are unsure about whether a medication you are currently or were recently taking could be a safety issue, please raise the issue with the site supervisor or manager before commencing any task. Smoking is only permitted in the main car park where there is a secure disposal point and prohibited at all other locations on site. Fire hoses are not to be used for washdowns. Do not bring pets onto the site. Wastes are to be disposed of only in identified waste bins and skips. If you bring a chemical or a hazardous material to the site, please declare them at the gate in order that an appropriate risk assessment can be made. The site's speed limit of 20 km an hour starts prior to the weighbridge at the top of the hill. Seatbelts are to be worn while underway. Be considerate of all other drivers, particularly of large plant, that have restricted visibility. Photography is not permitted unless by agreement. General amenities on the site include toilets, washing and crib rooms are located in the main administration block. First aid, report to the weighbridge. All Foraco staff are trained in basic first aid if required. UHF radio, set to channel 26, is used for general communications on site. As UHF is a public band, users are expected to avoid profane language while using the UHF. The final topic for this presentation relates to traffic management on the access road. This area of the access road is the final approach to the weighbridge and gate office. Please be aware that log trucks entering the site will cross from their left to their right-hand side of the road in this section of the access road. This is necessary to allow them a straight-on approach to the weighbridge weigh-in platform. We ask all users of the access road to recognise that log truck drivers will need to undertake this manoeuvre and to provide them with the courtesy of a wide safety margin. Thank you. This completes the Foraco site induction presentation. Please complete and sign the induction assessment form and present it to your site representative. After the assessment form has been reviewed, you will be notified by Foraco whether you have been successful in being granted contractor access privileges to the site.